Yeah.
Can I talk about the low emission zone for a section?
Well, funny you should say that, because there we go.
Superb.
People listening, local man has just had his lamppost next to him fall down.
That is unfortunate.
That was unfortunate how that came down just as he walked past it, isn't it?
Yeah.
He just looks to me like on the video, he's just pressing the button waiting to cross the road, and it's
Maybe he pressed the button slightly too hard.
Yes,
And he gives up after pressing it too hard. He's like, I'll go home.
Yes.
I've got dinner.
But again, we've got these ultra low emission zones being rolled out. Right, what have we got there? We've got some seriously dodgy science to start with. Then we've got some seriously dodgy surveys where not many people are surveyed. And even when you look at the data, most people said, no, thank you, we don't want a low emission zone. Then it goes through anyway in some seriously dodgy sort of political kind of ways where everything doesn't make sense at all. You've got Sadiq Khan who's pushing it through, and he is caught lying on multiple occasions. Then it goes through, then the low emission zone expands. Then you've got some councils standing up and saying, we're not going to have the low emission zone, we won't host the cameras. They end up doing it anyway. Then the people start taking down the cameras with angle grinders. Now you've got a situation where Sadiq Khan has somehow financed a fleet of mobile electric ULEZ vans that are going around to catch people because apparently the cameras aren't doing a good enough job. The electric ULEZ vans have obviously had to be paid for by someone for this scheme that, as I've just discussed, has been bought in dastardly ways. And now we've got a situation where I think we're reaching peak idiocy, which is Sadiq Khan's electric mobile ULEZ vans are being guarded by 2 security guards to stop the people who are trying to stop the ULEZ, who've tried all legal means of stopping the ULEZ. So it's ridiculous. We've got these very questionable, in fact, some of them could have been on that AI thing with tattoos all over their faces. You've got these sort of people standing there guarding ULEZ vans so the ULEZ can do whatever it is that it needs to do to save the air.
And I have noticed cheaper to buy electric cars for people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the amount of this is the questions that I have. The amount of money that has been spent on this fleet of
How many Teslas is that?
It's well, to be honest, the electric vans are crap. They're a lot cheaper than the Teslas.
No, I mean, if you add up the security guards, the vans, the initial cameras you put up, the consultation period.
Yeah, if you added up everything, the complete cost of rolling out the low emission zone scheme, it's huge. And who's financed that? Because aren't TfL meant to be broke anyway? So there's just so many questions.
And I noticed the people who are doing the guarding of those vans look like they come straight out of the immigrant hotels as well. I mean, that might not be the case, but it does seem to be the case.
In a lot of cases, it does seem to be. And there's Facebook groups that are then, when they are finding people who are like genuine security guards who genuinely show their ID, they're then exposing them on Facebook and saying you shouldn't be working for these people. But I think what more can the citizens of London, the normal people,
didn't it start with a consultation, and the consultation came out strongly no? And then
and there was also I think there was also a business consultation where they consulted on local businesses, and all of the a huge percentage of the local businesses also said no as well. So going back right to the start, there isn't anybody that wants it, statistically speaking.
Yes.
But we get it anyway.
Yes. Well, this is my whole point. The social contract is just in ruins at this point.
So I don't understand why anyone in London is still running around with number plates on their cars.
Yeah.
Because what else can you do at this stage?
Yeah. And to be fair, you don't actually see a police car that often, so the chances of being pulled over, and especially if it was a thing and everybody started doing it.
Well, some of them are. So you can buy number plates of, illegally, obviously, you can buy number plates which match someone else's vehicle, which looks like yours, and then people are putting them on. Because a friend of mine lives in Weston-super-Mare, and his van at 3 a.m. apparently was driving around London. So he was sent a ticket for that. And he's got the picture, and he's like, well, it's not my van. All these features are wrong. The person in it isn't me, as you can see on the camera. So, yeah, people are doing that.
So you can deconstruct the social contract by saying, I'm not going to be involved with this, and just whip your plates off.
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't know where it goes next. I mean, if everybody's done everything they can to say, we don't want this, and the government say, well, you're having it, there's got to come a point where we go French. And
the notion is that we're supposed to, at least this is the story, we're supposed to live in a democracy where the people get what they want.
Absolutely.
But it's just obvious now that we don't. So that unfortunate lamppost fell down, and there it is in the morning with the ULEZ camera on top. Now, I think when they started, they were putting these ULEZ cameras up individually, and then they started putting them on crossings.
Yeah, well, they started going everywhere. They also changed the design of them as well, because initially it was just the sort of camera body, and the wires popping out the back. Whereas I think that one there in the picture is they then started using armored cameras because people were going past and snipping the wires. But you even had situations where insiders who were in charge of installing these cameras were going on the anti-ULEZ Facebook groups and posting anonymously and saying things like, oh, hypothetically speaking, you actually do more harm if you pull this certain wire instead of cutting it, because it's much harder to fix the camera if the wire's been pulled than if it's been cut. So there's, when people on the inside know that the technology that they're installing isn't good for mankind, I just don't really know what.
So Connor in our office had this. So he came in yesterday saying that a new ULEZ camera had gone up opposite his house.
Yeah.
And that had appeared yesterday morning. By this morning, it was already cut down.
Excellent.
So,
I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah.
We should find the culprits.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That is awful. But it makes you think that
Give
there
them a
must be
Twix.
the people who installed them, because that's a really fast turnaround. I wouldn't be surprised if the people who installed them are also on the Facebook groups who are saying, yeah, there's a new one here.
That's happening as well. But again, this seems to be a trend with dastardly things happening in the middle of the night. Another one is, it's totally unrelated, but trees being cut down in the middle of the night by councils as well.
Oh, yeah, so they do it as well.
The country.
Yeah.
So when the people who are in charge that have given us the illusion that we have something that we have some form of influencing what they're doing, when they do something that they know that we're not going to like, they do it in the middle of the night.
Yes, and I'll come back to the trees thing. So this is sort of happening. This is your sort of point that we got a ULEZ van there, and these other people have parked in such a way as, unfortunately, now it doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. And to your point about trees, so bear in mind that they're doing all of this on the illusion that they're saving the planet.
Yep.
But we're knocking down not us, obviously, because we disavow this, but certain naughty individuals are cutting these things down and planting new trees. And like you say, the councils are going along and cutting down actual trees.
Yeah, all over the place.
Yes. But no, just be clear, we support the UK government in everything they do. Now, I can tell you, if I was walking along the street and I saw one of these dastardly Blade Runners cutting down one of these cameras, I would go over to him and I would give him a piece of my mind. And I would say, "Oi, you, explain yourself to me." Now, while he's explaining himself to me, I'd buy him a pint, because you might get a dry throat while he's
may
explaining
well do.
himself. Yeah, and then I'd buy him another pint.
Yeah,
yeah, and then maybe one more pint for good measure. But I'd make him explain himself, and then hopefully that would be a disincentive. Right, another example: if the trees aren't enough, what's happened here? So look, there's one of these ULEZ vans going around. Oh no! Somebody super glued a dildo over the camera.
Excellent.
Exactly what we do.
These ULEZ vans are going through tyres at an alarming rate, and windscreens.
Oh yes,
yeah, they seem to have faulty windscreens where they seem to get smashed randomly. So
that's really the best situation, when you could find out what you're doing is not helping anyone. When the staff you've paid to do it are actively sabotaging their own efforts because they hate it. I mean, that's sort of a sign you should give up.
I mean, even the fact that how did the conversation go at TfL? They said, right, we're gonna get these vans to go around London and to do the ULEZ for the clean air, and then someone would say, hang on a minute, we're probably going to need some security guards for the vans. Was there not anybody that sat there and went, maybe this isn't such a good thing? If the van that is designed to catch the people who are polluting the air that's meant to be clean has been made in China, and we bought them en masse and they were all bought over here on container ships, and now we've got to pay security guards with questionable backgrounds who won't show their ID to protect the Chinese-made van that is designed to catch the people who are polluting the clean air in London. At what point did anybody with any sense say, oh, hold on a minute?
What's the failure condition? At what point do you say, actually, let's just scrap it?
Yeah.
Wasn't worth it.
Where's all the good people go? Where are all the good people?
This is the whole thing, is it? What is the failure point? So we reached it with the Brussels thing, where they pulled back on the pesticides. So apparently they're not going. I mean, they will bring it back, obviously, but we reached it. This is an interesting one, because who's gonna blink first?
I think we need more people standing up to it. I still don't think there's enough. I really don't. From everything I see from the Facebook groups and all of the really quite desperate and quite sad posts that I'm seeing from people who have been caught, they've got all these fines and they've got all this money that's mounting up. On balance, from everything I see on social media, I really think we need more people standing up to it.
Yeah.
To reach that failure point,
Yeah.
as you say, more people need to be much more proactive. Otherwise, this will be everywhere.